guys. Way to go. Keep it going. Good job, guys. All right, Paul, I see you. All right, Carl, finish on. Coach Carl.
Great job, guys.
Hey there, it's Coach Curl here from the Today's Leader podcast. Welcome to Monday Mentoring.
The Coach Curl podcast is brought to you by Think and Grow Business, the home of the Think and Grow Business Mastermind. If you're serious about growing your business, get serious and join a mastermind group today. Find out more at thinkandgrowbusiness.com.au.
Hey there and good morning, it's Coach Curl here and welcome to Monday Mentoring. Today's Monday Mentoring is based around an interview of episode 217 of the Today's Leader podcast, where I interviewed Ria Story. Now, Ria Story's got an amazing story of courage and resilience, and her story is a resilience, perseverance to overcome the worst possible circumstances, and in Ria's case, it was a family sexual abuse, which occurred from the age of 12 right through until she left home in age 19. I would encourage you, if you haven't, to go back and listen to episode 217 of the podcast, of the Today's Leader podcast, because there is so much gold, so much power in what Ria talks about. But the little bit that I want to share with you today in relation to Monday Mentoring was the gold that she shared in relation to why she started sharing her story. So up until that time, she had locked the story away. She built the wall around it. She didn't speak it to anyone. And she realized, and through encouragement and influence, that her story was one to share because she was being active in moving away from those horrific circumstances in which she found herself. To be a leader, she's written 12 books, she's spoken, she's done a TED Talk. So there's all manner of positivity that has come from the horrific circumstances that she walked away from. And the goal that she shared that I want to speak to is, until you own your story, she said, until you own your story owns you. Now that's powerful. Until you own your story owns you. Now, Ria's story is a courageous tale of facing into, leaning into, and ultimately leaving a horrific situation. She left home after 7 years of sexual abuse with nothing more, much more than the clothes on her back, and accompanied by and her knight in the shining Camaro, who went on to become her husband, Mac. Own your story or your story owns you. Now, one of the things that we know is that we all have a story. We all have a story that have affected us, that has created protective behaviours around us, like Ria talked about, building that wall all around the story, never to be mentioned again. But we all have those stories. And while we may not speak of them, while we may not acknowledge them, the funny thing is that they're always present in our thoughts. They're always present. And in some cases, that could be a daily thought process. It could be a daily presence. So even though we built this wall all around it, never to speak of again, lock it in and throw away the key, unfortunately, the story is always present in our mind. Maybe for you, it could have been that someone broke your trust. And as you get close to people or connect with people or build relationships with people, that fear of happening again comes out and puts you into a self-sabotage state with the relationship so that you don't face the pain of having someone break your trust. Maybe someone's ripped you off prior. Maybe it was a business opportunity, one of those too good to be true situations that turned out to be too good to be true. And maybe now you look at all opportunities presented to you with a little bit of cynicism, and you shy away. You prefer not to take the risk for fear of someone ripping you off. Maybe it's as simple, and when I say simple, this is on a scale, but maybe it's as simple that someone openly criticized you in a group or a team environment, and they were openly critical, making you feel ashamed, making you feel insecure. And then since then, you've never put yourself in a position where you were open to that criticism. And we do that in many ways. We do that by withdrawing in team situations. We do that by not putting in effort. We do that by flying under the radar. So when we talk about until you own your story owns you, this is some of the stories that are potentially affecting each and every one of us. We all have a story. And as I said, Rhea is a powerful role model about how you can face your story with courage and move forward into something that's ultimately powerful. Maybe you've had a relationship fail. Maybe you've had a family relationship fail. All these are stories. And until you own the story, your story owns you. And of course, not everyone has that horrific story. But when we hear from people like Rhea, we draw strength from that. Maybe your story is something lighter, but it's still something that's stopping you from achieving your greatest potential. And that's something that we need to be looking into. To really step into your power, own your story. And the way we do that is we need to at least acknowledge it. We need to acknowledge it. We need to celebrate our learnings from it. What did we learn from it? How did I grow? Celebrate your growth from the story. You walked away from that story. You overcome that story. Whatever it is, you walked away. That story didn't stop you right there and then. So that's a powerful celebration in itself. Acknowledge, celebrate your growth, and devise your strategies for future. If someone broke your trust, of course it's going to be harder to trust people. They need to follow a more stringent process, maybe. But that's part of your strategy that you need to put in place. Okay, look for those telltale signs that someone is on the verge of breaking trust. And then have your strategy to confront and to acknowledge it. Own your story. Don't let it own you. Instead of being powerless, which is what we are, be powerful. Rhea also talks about instead of building that wall, she builds a bridge. She builds a bridge from the pain of the past to the power and the potential of the future. And once again, that's a striking metaphor that I really want you to think about this week on Monday Mentoring. Because remember, nothing that has happened to you up until now has broken you. You are still standing. You are stronger, you are braver, and you are wiser. Let's celebrate that. Own your story. Don't let it own you. Hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next Monday for Monday Mentoring. Thanks for listening to our Monday Mentoring session today. I hope it gives you momentum to reach out for your dreams. If you're looking for an extra boost, check out my online academy for access to over 75 programs to help you build a better mindset, enhance your leadership skills, and boost your business. You can trial it for just $1 for the first month at thecoachcurlacademy.com. Remember, wherever you are standing stronger, braver, and wiser. Have yourself a successful and a productive week. And remember the golden rule. Just don't be an arsehole. I'll see you next time.